we're at the point now where we got all this information and we're part of that tidal wave. It's like in the ocean, when you have something in there, you cannot fight it, it's being taken. Usually that might be a scary thing, right? Not being in control. It's our narrative, right? It's about our school. And there's other people who are coming into the mix. People have their own agendas. But let me tell you, and I noticed that, I'm not stupid. I know that there's groups coming in that want to help protest, but they have their reasons, or they have their reasons. And I had to process that this week. But I came to the conclusion that, yeah, they do have their reasons and they have their angles. But at the end of the day, they all want us to thrive. We all want to keep our culture. We all want to keep our identity. So I started to focus on the things that we all have in common. And that is to fight and save for our Armenian schools. We cannot let that fail. And we cannot let people in their yachts and, I'm not against yachts, I don't have one, but I guess the point is, they're so out of touch with who we are as an Armenian people. And we were talking here actually before it started, and I was talking with Ali, and I said, and with the committee members, and one of the questions like, okay, let's talk about what we have going for us. Because we know what they have, right? They have, the power and the money, and then one of the things that came to me and dawned on me was, one of the things that we have going for us, besides our energy and our strength and our yelling and our noise, is that they don't know who Maro is. And they don't know who Eileen and Amy and Goldie and Salpi and Aline and everybody. They don't know us. They don't know who we are. They don't know how to deal with us, right? They know how to deal with their people. They know how to deal with people they can control. But they don't know how to deal with this. I think that's confusing them. So let's move on to the next phase of this, right? And that is, why don't you come up with me? We want to talk to you about, really what's happening in terms of what progress we've been made. So we have all that information out there. There's been communication. Okay, let's start with that. Oh, you said it's so long. I had no idea.
So they have reached out to us and saying that they want to call us to a meeting. And initial gut feeling is great. They meaning, well, through the school board, they have communicated to us that set an appointment with AGBU leadership, but the subject line is meeting with central board. That's all we know. The problem with that is, initially we were very excited, yes, they want to come to the table. Yet it started sounding like they're going to dictate who we bring, what we say, how we're going to say it. And so for us it was like, okay, wait a minute, let's not get too excited, because the people they chose to invite to this meeting, and with all due respect, I know our school, PSG and Booster Club is a very significant and an important part of keeping the school spirit alive. Maybe members of that are not the best people to bring to the table, because as effective as, Motto can be, and as, persistent as I can be, and Leslie knows that very well, because I had it out with her, friendly terms last year. But we did manage, through a senior committee last year, to push to keep something that is vital to the school as part of the school, event, which was graduation and all that. So she knows how persistent I could be. A lot of our PSG moms are there helping every day, which is great, and they can do a lot for the school. But why are you telling me who, I can't cut a deal with the central board?
We didn't say to them, you could only bring X, Y, Z. Who were they to say you could only bring these people to the table? And I found that this was going in the totally wrong direction. It was unacceptable. So we're making sure at this point that whoever goes, and we're not, trust me, we're really being very thoughtful about this. But whoever goes to the table is going to be people that will be able to look Baird Setchakyan in the face and tell him what he really is. Okay? Because that's what needs to happen. What's the point of them coming and saying, there were rumors. Mr. Demirjan had offered apparently at our protest on Monday. We should say this. We never told them this. They should, yeah, I'm sorry. I dismissed it so long ago. There's so much. And what we're telling you is something. You bring $800,000. No, it's $800,000. Your school is open. 700. Stop. 700. Whatever. Stop and think. Stop it. Why in the world would we struggle to put all of our pennies together? Yeah. You're looking like, wow, that might be a good offer. We put all that money together and we hand it to this guy. The same people that spent $1 million on a guy from North Carolina to teach our kids how to be Armenian. I wouldn't trust that board with a nickel. So unless they've got plans, okay, maybe we'll rethink things. But I want you guys to know that because I know that that was a rumor that was circulating. This is a deeper issue. This is something that needs cleaning out. And we are looking, it has to be, and we're thinking a third party. We've heard it from you. You guys had these suggestions, perhaps, that a third party, maybe the diocese, come in and take what, perhaps like they did in Toronto. Okay, that's a really good question. That's a very good question. So, and it doesn't have to be the diocese, right? It could be another benefactor who could come, sweep, take over the school. It could be a lot of things. But the bottom line is, why would you have, people have to understand who we are to lead us into our future. We can't have a man on the helm who wants to get rid of us. And what other schools next? Maybe MDS. Don't say no. Don't say no. Did you think our school was going to close on Friday? So let's be prepared and let's be smart. And let's stay very strong.
Just going back to the meeting. So, again, we feel, and again, this is, from support from whoever's reached out to us, that whoever meets with the board has to be someone who can bring the right people to the table that is able to come to a resolution, either whether it's, the things that Mauro suggested, whether, the Manoukian Foundation or AGBU Central Board, because of the pressure, decides to reverse their decision. And to be honest, I said this, it's not too late. They can, people make mistakes. It's human nature to make mistakes. It's not too late to fix the error, the judgment that they had. Because obviously, and maybe they didn't realize, and actually it's funny, because after the protest, I managed to sort of get in the face of Mr. Demirjan who kept looking around, looking at his watch because I wouldn't let him get away. And he said something to me that was quite disturbing, and I have to share this because it still doesn't sit well with me. Because I asked him, how can you guys, turn your backs on 140 students? And he said something along the line, and I'm paraphrasing, and it may not be exactly the words, but this was what I got from him, was he goes, let me ask you, he goes, if you could take the money that you would, we're putting into the school to keep it alive for 140 students, and you could take that money and help 10,000 kids, wouldn't you do that? And I was like, I would not sacrifice 140 kids for 10,000 other kids. I said, somebody like AGBU, an organization who, has been around and is a huge supporter, and that's the reason why we sent our kids to, was because they were big on education. So AGBU plus the Panukian Foundation, you guys can't figure out a way to do both? I mean, honestly, 140 kids, you want me to sacrifice 140 kids for 10,000? Every Armenian child is important, and every Armenian child deserves an Armenian education if that's what we want. So I took great offense with that, and it has been unsettling to me ever since that you are asking me to sacrifice. And honestly, a lot of the kids I, came to know this week, a lot of the parents, and now I have numbers of parents I didn't even know existed, and now they're on my, my contact list. So it's unfortunate that it has to, this has to happen. But those 140 kids, in their faces, and their tanti, can we do this, tanti, that, I would never sacrifice a single one of those kids for any other number of kids. They can find a way, and there is no reason why they can't figure out a way to change this mistake that they did. It's not too late. I think that's my it's not too late. Please fix your mistake. So, again, going back to our meeting, we're happy to meet with them, but it's a little weird that you guys want to bring us, what are you going to say? And at some point, we were collectively grouped in with the student body, this they decided PSG leadership and booster leadership and student council leadership is the right folk to be at this meeting. So when we said, and we're going to answer questions at the end, we just want to pass on, so we appreciate you guys having concerns. So when we suggested that, we're happy to come to the meeting. However, we need a neutral party there so that, they can sort of bring the right people to the table. Their response to that was they split us with the 4 parents and then said, we're going to meet with the student council separately. I am not going to let the board sit next to these students without any adult supervision, okay? And have them, like, I don't know, there's a saying, I am not, and then none of us, okay, in the committee. Again, it's that protective nature. Seriously, we have embraced all the children. There is no way we would let those children sit there without adult supervision, without guidance. And we've tried to steer them, don't talk to these reporters, because a lot of times they feel a little intimidated. This is new to them too. So we're gonna dictate who we bring. You can't tell us that, oh, bring a few parents. Well, us parents may not know all the details. There's a history, 13 years of this school, and we've been contacted by people who started the school, who were there when Vache Manukian decided to sort of, take over the school and help and fund subsidize the school, who know what the discussions were at the time. So we're not going to go with just a few moms, because that's not who's going to, start the conversation. So
I have to jump in here because who was giving me a look over there when I mentioned surplus on? Maybe trusting. right? Well, I'm gonna bring that issue because that is an issue. And I said this in my interview yesterday, so it's gonna be public knowledge very soon. I don't mind having somebody standing in as an arbitrator. I would love the idea of bringing the church back into our school. And if it's the diocese, let him come and let them do it. But if he, Serpazan Derderia, is in the pocket of Berj Setrakian, no way. And this is why we have been kind of quiet. And this is why we haven't had all this, because we've been really, really trying to figure out a lot of things. We need a hero at this point. If I had the money, and I know there's so many Armenians with great hearts, with great vision, I would want to be that hero, right? We are creating a perfect situation for someone to be a hero. Vache Manukian could be a hero.
AGBU
Vehapa, where are you? Right? Someone can be a hero. But whoever comes in the future of this school, don't you think we should have a school with a school board that has parents on it?
Yes.
Right? I think Serpazan can be a hero. We're waiting. We have to give a chance. So you guys know now who the players are. As best as we can explain it all to you. And do we want to talk about Eric Israel yet? I don't know if there's anything more to say for me.